Welcome everyone to Ready to Love episode 10. Come on in and Lordy have mercy. What a toxic mess this was. What is going on with this Last Supper? Is this the Bible thumping people's idea of the Last Supper? This don't look like no disciples to me. How do the Bible thumping people get here? What kind of Last Supper is this? We knew this was going to blow up. We knew this was going to blow up in everyone's face. We could see the makings between Morgan and Tony a long time ago. But let this be a warning to you people. Let this be a warning. I'm telling you, stop using the word alpha male because it has become a code word for toxic and people who can't control their emotions. Next time you out on a date with somebody and some man says, I'm an alpha male, you better make sure you ask some additional questions because the word alpha male is used by a lot of people out here to cover up problems or where you can't regulate your emotions. And here was Morgan over here talking about she wanted a man aggressive and assertive. And guess what? Now she's scared. She just is aggressive and assertive too, but now she being outdone by Tony right now. I tell you, what a horrible couple for these two to ever be together. Let me tell you, the police would be over at their house every other week. The police would be over at Morgan and Tony's house for domestic issues going on over there. Neither one of them can control their anger. Neither one of them can control their jealousy. Let this be a warning to every woman out there when you come across a man who says he's an alpha male. You better ask additional questions because there's a lot of people out here adopting this term alpha male, alpha female, and the whole definition has changed. It's almost like, remember back in the day when you would call a woman thick because, she wasn't skinny or whatever else, but she wasn't real thin, but she was thick, but she was in shape. She looked nice. Now all of a sudden you got big old 400-pound women talking about they thick. That's not what thick was. You're fat, you're obese. Thick is something completely different. People take words to try to use it to talk about themselves when in the reality of it, they're way past that word. Tony is way past the old traditional alpha male. He's got jealousy issues. He's got control issues. He can't control himself. Morgan is right in everything that she sees about him. But the problem is Morgan spurs it on. Morgan likes it, and this is what makes it toxic. Morgan was really more than happy to be up in this house. At first, she was very happy to have two men that she knew that was going to be fighting for her because Morgan likes people to chase her. So guess what? Now you got this whole toxic mix. This is how people keep creating the same scenarios in their lives because they actually run to that. If Morgan has a problem in her life attracting toxic men, she needs to really study this tape to see how she was first attracted to the man and how she encouraged the behavior. We even got cool, calm, Lyndon over here getting riled up in this mess. This ain't who Lyndon normally is. Lyndon is normally at home chilling on a couch, having a cocktail or laughing, having a good time. And next thing you know, he's over here about to get into a brawl with Tony the Tiger. This was a mess. But anyway, let's just start from the beginning of it. First of all, you had the two troublemakers riding in the car together, Jeffrey and Morgan. And you hear Jeffrey over said, okay, now you're starting to act more like Jeffrey. Talking about Morgan, now you're starting to plot like I plot. Jeffrey's up there being the teacher, trying to teach Morgan, girl, just don't act out of emotions and act all wild and just do whatever you want to do and say whatever you want to say. Girl, you got to be calculated like me. You need to be a student of Jeffrey. I told you, Jeffrey's a thinker. She's a thinker and she's a calculating thinker. And what she was trying to tell Morgan was, you got to plan your attacks better, girl. You just out here running off of emotion. You got to do like me. You got to have a plan of attack, get all your lies together, get all your manipulation together, and then put your plan into action. Schooler Jeffrey, I guess Schooler, when they joined up at this little, alligator boat ride or whatever else, you got Mercedes and Mark Anthony together. Now we see that Mark Anthony is hanging all over Mercedes because guess what? He knows Jeffrey has dumped him. Mark Anthony knows that Jeffrey is moving on to the Forbes man. But have y'all ever been on one of them alligator boat rides? I've been on one of them. They're kind of cool. If you ever go to Florida, swamp rides, that's what they call them. A swamp rides. We went one on. We saw a couple of alligators here and there, but it was nothing scary. But I enjoyed it. If you ever go to Florida, the Everglades or whatever, I think it is something you got to do as a tourist. I mean, I was a tourist, so when I go to places, I do the touristy stuff. If I come back, then I do the other stuff, right? Like I want to see the behind the scenes stuff, but I make sure that wherever I go, I do both. I do touristy stuff, and then I do stuff where I want to do with like the locals do. But that Everglades stuff is touristy, I think. So I definitely did it. So y'all should check it out if you've never been to Florida. But anyway, Jeffrey says she can't decide between her two men. She got two people. She says one is the one you want and one is the one you need. Woo! Now, if that ain't the truth, I ain't heard no truth ever. If that ain't the truth, I ain't never heard no truth. Because Jeffrey, I said it just right. One is the one you want. And who do you guys think the one you want is? You know who it is? It is a fine looking Mark Anthony. That's who she wants. That's who she wants. And she said the one she needs is, who she thinks she needs? Andre. Because she needs Andre's money to help take care of her and those kids for those baby daddies that ain't contributing much child support, and the burden is heavy. I told you, let me tell you, Jeffrey has a plan. And let me tell you, every woman out here kind of needs to have a plan, but they don't need to be as manipulative and lying as Jeffrey is. You can have a plan, but not be a manipulative liar. But Jeffrey said, one is the one I want, and one is the one I need. Get it, Jeffrey. Get it, girl. And then why they put Tony in the car with Lyndon? Tony is a hater on Lyndon. Tony can't even sit in the car with Lyndon. This tells you how bad Tony is. You couldn't even sit in the car. Tony was sitting there like a bump on the log, angry. I thought he was going to reach into the back seat and punch Lyndon in the face. I really did. Maybe if he was taller and he could reach Lyndon's face, he would punch him, because Tony's a lot shorter than Lyndon. I think he really wanted to punch Lyndon. I mean, the rage inside of Tony is horrible. And let me tell you, this has nothing to do with liking Morgan. It really doesn't. This has to do with Tony's ego. And Tony wants to win. Tony wants to win at all costs, and this is his ego. Exactly what played out that dinner table was what Tony said to Lyndon: "Are you gonna lose?" Because that's what this is to Tony. This is a game, and he acts like a Morgan is a piece of meat out in the jungle. A Morgan is the gazelle running around, talking about chase me, tiger. And Tony is on the hunt, running through the jungle, and he is telling the other person, telling the other lion, which is Lyndon, I'm going to win. I'm going to get the gazelle. I'm going to devour her, and I'm going to eat her. Tony don't want no Morgan. That's why he told Lyndon in secret that if Marcy was here, you could have Morgan. It was partially true and part a lie. The truth is, Tony knows he can't handle Morgan long term. Tony knows he can't be running through the jungle at this pace all the time. Tony's ass is old. Maybe when he was 30, he could chase Morgan like this for days on end, weeks on end, months on end. But Tony is 40-something years old. He is tired. He's an old tiger. He don't have the stamina to be chasing a person like Morgan who loves to play these games. Morgan can play these games all day, every day. Tony know he can't hang. Tony knew towards the end, hey, I might want to devour her. I might want to catch her. But after that, I'm going to go on and sit over here and lay down underneath this tree with Marcy. Tony wanted to get full and eat up Morgan and then go stay and run up under the tree with Marcy. Even Marcy on her little accident views is talking about how Tony is still blowing her up. Woo, woo, woo. See what happens, Morgan, when you talk about you want an aggressive and an assertive man? Be comfortable. Be careful that sometimes the aggressive and assertive man just means he's the most hungry. It doesn't mean he's the best. It just means he's the most hungry. And you don't always want the most hungry person, because sometimes that means their appetite is insatiable. You hear what I'm saying, ladies? Sometimes the most aggressive man, sometimes the most assertive man is because he's got more energy, because he's got more stamina. But sometimes that stamina doesn't come from a good place. Sometimes that stamina comes from a place of being insatiable, which means no one can satisfy him a long term. So he has to have the stamina to keep chasing and to keep hunting. Be careful, ladies. I'm warning you out here. Be careful running around talking about you want an alpha male. Be careful saying you're an alpha male. Be careful being the woman that attracts alpha males. Be very, very careful. Got Andre over here still talking about Mercedes, still talking about how she didn't call him when he had COVID, a fake COVID. Andre's a mess. Andre had something to do, and he's still over here blaming Mercedes because she was honest with him and told him that, hey, I'm sorry I didn't call you while you was out with COVID because I thought you was never coming back. But he still got a chip on his shoulder. Andre, go on over there and cuddle up with Go over there and cuddle up with Jeffrey with her yoga pants, her stretch pants on. Go cuddle up with her. Get away from Mercedes and get away from her. I'm sick of Andre. His ego stroking. His ego is so big. How did he get an ego this big? Is that the result of all that curl activator in his head? Does curl activator also activate your ego? Because Lord have mercy, it is huge. His ego is huge and it doesn't let up. It does not let up. And why in the heck is later on we see Jeffrey get into a hot tub with Andre with some leggings on? Leggings, I told y'all she wears them every chance you get to show she's still a fit. Like I told you, Kevin Samuels, high value man, you still need to be fit. She wears them leggings no matter where she goes. But who knew I was going to have to watch her get into a hot tub jacuzzi with some leggings on. She didn't bring no bathing suit. She didn't bring no swimsuit she could go up and change. She knew Andre was going to be getting into the hot tub jacuzzi. She didn't bring a swimsuit. Like Demario said, we ain't even seen her with no makeup on. What is Jeffrey covering up? A no makeup, no bathing suit. Let me tell you. Jeffrey knows how to play the game to show you what she wants to show you that makes her look good, but don't show anything else that might make her look bad. Demario, you can add, we ain't seen her no bathing suit now. You was talking about how she didn't wear you never saw her with no makeup. Now you can say we ain't seen her in no swimsuit. Lord have mercy. Blake's talking about he got to review Suanne, really look at her because we might be triggered by our divorces. I tell you, Blake is going to do an investigation. Blake is going to dive deep on you and figure out all your triggers, all your red flags, all the areas where you might be got a problem. That's why he dug in on Jeffrey and figured her out real soon. That's why they had that fallout. But he really need to look at himself a little bit more. I think Suanne's going to be the one that goes home this week, y'all. I think Suanne's going to go home. They didn't tell us at the end of this show who was going home. But the two bottom people are Mercedes and Suanne. And I think it's going to end up being Suanne, to be honest with you. And I wouldn't be surprised if after Suanne goes home, Blake says, well, shoot, I might as well self-eliminate. Plus, don't they have too many men on the show? Isn't it a lopsidedness? Aren't there way too many men right now? So they're about to send another woman home. It's going to be way too many men on the show. Some men are going to have to leave. And I wouldn't be surprised if Blake says, it's time for me to go home. I don't want to be here no more anyway. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But Lyndon is mixing up the drinks. He's mixing up the drinks. I love to have a bartender at all my parties. People who know how to make fun drinks. And Lyndon rolled up his sleeves, started making some drinks for everybody. And everybody was getting saucy and having a good time. Like I said, I would hang out with Lyndon. Lyndon is fun. Of all the men on the show, Lyndon is the most fun. I don't care if he ain't ready to get married or ready to love. Women, if you just want to have a good time, if you're not ready to get married and you just want to have a good time, you better call up Lyndon. If you are in Miami and you're not really ready to get married, but you want to have a good time, a laugh, have a male friend that you could talk to, you better call up Lyndon because he's perfect for that. I'm telling you, Lyndon is perfect for that. And every once in a while, you want to get your itch scratched, he's perfect for that. Lyndon can provide a lot of services. He really can. He may not be ready to love and get married. Like he said, he got a 5-year plan. But if you just want something for in the meantime, in the between time, shoot, call up Lyndon. What bar is he at? Lyndon, drop down in my comments. Let us know what bar are you at. I'm going to send some ladies your way. But Mark Anthony telling Mercedes, come on in here, girl. Come on and cuddle up with me. You looking like my future ex-wife. He trying to lay it on thick with Mercedes now that he knows Jeffrey's over here kissing and canoodling with Andre. I don't even think Jeffrey has even talked to Mark Anthony. Woo! Jeffrey got her eyes set on that high-rise penthouse with the view. And the Forbes money. Jeffrey know where she going. Jeffrey ain't no fool. She was like, I could be with Andre and sleep with Mark Anthony on the side. Because according to Simone over at Ages and Stages, that's kind of what she does. She got one man and she sleeps with another man on the side. Woo! Listen, I ain't gonna say nothing. Let me stop. Allegedly, people, allegedly. But Tony and Lyndon over here playing pool. You knew Tony was gonna win that pool game. He was gonna win a hook or crook, even if he had to cheat. He was like, "We playing for where Morgan's gonna sleep tonight." He said, "We playing for Morgan's honor." There ain't no honor. This is not what we playing for. Not honor. Let's not twist it up. This is not playing for no honor. Do say just what you said. We playing to see who's gonna win and be able to devour Morgan. And after he devours her, he gonna leave her right over there. You know what? You all ever been on a safari? Have you ever been on a safari? I've been on several safaris in Africa, and you'll be driving through on the safari, and you'll see like carnage. You'll see like skeleton remains of an animal because of some lion that come along, hyena, somebody that come along and ate the animal, and all they left was the bones on the ground. That's what Tony be doing to women. Tony be coming over, devouring and eating them up and leave the skeleton remains on the ground. And then you come along and go, "Ooh, what is that? What is that? Dang. Look like some lion ate real well." That'd be Tony. That is Tony. Andre's still over here talking about he got a couple of connections, Cynthia and Jeffrey. You know he ain't interested in Cynthia either. He talking about I can't even hardly get it out without laughing. He said, you know, I can hardly get it out, people. But anyway, let me get myself together. He said that Jeffrey is a well-cultured wife material. Jeffrey ain't even been nowhere. Don't y'all remember the conversation Jeffrey had with Blue very beginning when they first met day one? And she said she has never even been nowhere, not even out the country. She don't even have a passport. And Blue was telling her that she traveled all the time. And so she was saying, maybe you'll be the first one to get a stamp in my passport. How the hell is she well cultured? The American culture? If you ain't been out the country, ain't seen nothing. I mean, you talking about the cultures right here in America? Well, that's the American culture. I mean, yeah, I know there's immigrants here, but she ain't well cultured. Andre, I tell you. And then he said that she is wife material. I tell you, I've been, thinking about this Ages and Stages and the stuff that Simone broke out on her. And if y'all go back to the very beginning episode with not her name, what's her name again? Jeffrey said to Blue in that same conversation, she said, "I've been thinking about my wedding since I was a kid." So I don't know, there's some snafu stuff going on with Ages and Stages. There's a lot going on with it, saying that there was no real marriage, that the marriage was annulled, that they were together for 13 years but they weren't married all that time. Some of that got to be true, because in that first episode, if y'all go back and watch to it, Jeffrey says she's been dreaming about a wedding since she was a little kid, which means she never had no wedding. There might be a marriage, there might be a civil marriage, there might have been gone down to the courthouse, whatever the case may be, but there was no wedding. Because she even said it. She said she's been dreaming about her wedding, which means she ain't never really had one. I tell you, but according to Andre, she's wife material, and she ain't never had no wedding, and then she's well cultured but never been out the country. Oh my gosh. Whew. I don't know. What do they say about when you put too much perm in your hair and too much Jerry curl juice in your hair? Don't they say that seeps down, those chemicals seep down into your brain? I think they have seeped down in Andre's brain. And Andre is not too bright. I'm going to tell you right now, he might have been on Forbes, but I don't know. He's not too bright. I don't think he is. I don't think he's highly intelligent. Because I don't know how he can't see through Jeffrey. I really don't know how he can't see through Jeffrey. Unless he's playing a game. Unless he's just as manipulative as Jeffrey. Unless he's just as much a liar than Jeffrey. Something ain't right, because I really don't see how anyone couldn't see through Jeffrey. I don't see it. But Cynthia don't want him anyway, because Cynthia said, you know what, you nice and all, but I don't want all this flashiness all the time. Andre think he rejected Cynthia. Cynthia don't want Andre. She was like, you nice and everything, but I can't be dealing with this all up here all the time. It's good to turn up every once in a while, but a person who always wants to be like that, always need the spotlight, always need you stroking the ego. Cynthia, like, I'm running a company. I got 2 kids and I'm running a whole doggone company. I ain't got time for that. A lot of these people on this show, they just playing a game. I actually know what the other seasons, I don't think we've ever come to the house where we've had this many pairing ups. This seems like it's a lot of couples, maybe fake couples or fake connections. I don't know. But this seems like the first time we've had this many people really already picking their people. They're playing like, you know, they got other connections, but people have pretty much already picked their number ones. Like Tony said, Morgan has been his number one since from the very beginning. He keeps saying that. But she slipped to number 2 after she started talking about that nair in the hair. He was starting to look at her with an eye open. I don't know why he was talking about who's going to sleep in the room with Morgan. He better check her suitcase. He better check the suitcase and make sure there's no nair in that suitcase before he starts a plan for her to sleep in the room with him. Where's TSA? Where is TSA? We need to run a Morgan through the TSA security scanners to make sure there's no liquids in the suitcase. Wand her down. But Morgan was like, Tony, you got a hot head. You got a hot head. You got a mouth on you. You got a hot head. You don't know how to tone it down. Exactly. A 100% Morgan. You calling it right. You calling it right. You calling it right. This is why the two of you should not be together, because two hot heads do not deserve to be in the room together. Two hot heads, that is explosive, and that is actually a dangerous. And now Morgan knows that Tony really did like Marcy. She gonna make him pay for it. She's like, well, would you have chosen me if Marcy was here? Morgan knows the real deal. Morgan knows what's going on. And just like she put nair in that hair of that man, when that man started looking at another woman, talking to another woman, let me tell you, Morgan peeped out that Tony did like Marcia, and she don't like it. And now she's making him pay for it. She's going to make him pay for it. I mean, when they were going at it at that table and they was fighting for her honor, and she was sitting there talking about, I'm standing right here, I'm sitting right here. Morgan, you an object right now. You not a real person. You a thing. You the gazelle or running through the jungle. You the gazelle or running through the safari out here, the nature preserve. Girl, you not a real person. Right now, this is about a gladiator stuff. This is some barbaric stuff going on right now. Even Sue Ann, Advocate Sue, the attorney, was like, objection, a hearsay. I'm telling you, when trauma comes and drama comes, people revert to type. And Sue Ann was like, am I in a courtroom? And I'm in a courtroom. Order in the court. Order in the court. That was funny as hell. But you know what? Tony owned his statement when Lyndon said, you know what, Tony, don't be trying to act like you didn't tell me in private that if Morgan wasn't here, you'd be on a Marcia. But at least Tony didn't lie. Tony didn't lie. He said, I sure did see it. Oh, but wait a minute. He did lie, because then he said, but I was just saying it to be saying it. No, it was a lie. Don't tell the truth and then come back with a lie. Just tell the truth the whole way. But you know he can't tell the whole truth. He did say it, and he did mean it. But at least he didn't sit up there and deny it. At least he didn't say, I didn't say that. Because you know he told it. And Lyndon was like going later on, told Morgan, you know, I'm sorry I had to I hurt your feelings like that and let you know what was really going on. But he was over there on some bullshit talking about how do you feel that I'm the one kissing Morgan 5-6 times a day? And Lyndon was like, well, how do you feel that, from what you told me, that I could have Morgan if Marcia was here? I tell you, don't be messing with Lyndon. Lyndon may look harmless. Lyndon may look like he knows how to have a good time and he knows how to chill, but that don't mean he ain't no fighter. Lyndon said, I know how to fight if I need to. I got a few daggers of my own. And then when Tony couldn't win the argument on the war of words, he said, come on, let's step outside. Let's take this to make it physical. Oh, Lord have mercy. Tony, calm down. Calm down. Where is the syringe? Where's the tiger syringe? Can we get the veterinarian over here to inject Tony with his tire syringe so he could calm down and fall asleep over here in the corner, because he is getting out of control. Morgan said it right when she said she was talking to Cynthia, and Cynthia told her, girl, you need to be careful about men and watch the way they treat you when they're angry. Bingo. That's what I'm talking about. See, Cynthia is a woman of experience and wisdom. She says, you know what? Watch people at their lowest. Watch them at their lowest, because if you can deal with them at their lowest, then that's great. Don't always judge them on when they're in their high place, their wonderful place. And the way Tony was acting in his lowest, Cynthia said, you better be aware. And let me tell you, he's not even at his lowest because he's on camera. How would he be if there was no camera in his face and 20 other witnesses around? Who would Tony be then with no witnesses and no camera? Buyer beware. A buyer beware. Tony was like, this conversation is over. Thank you. It needs to be over because this is horrendous. Where is corporate security? We got the attorney and corporate security sitting over there. Corporate security didn't even intervene. Blake was like, I ain't getting in the mess of this. That's like now when they be going in the store stealing stuff. Corporate security just be looking at them. They do not intervene. Blake was like, I ain't on the clock. I am not on the clock, and I'm not getting paid, and I ain't risking my health and safety over this bullshit. But in the end, you know what? They had to deliberate. They had to put 2 women on the bottom, and they put a Morgan, and they put Mercedes and Sue-Ann on the bottom. But like I said, I think Sue-Ann's going to be the one to go home. Who do you guys think is going to go home? Who do you guys think is going to go home? But that's it, y'all. Please be sure to let me know what you think of this video. I am going to do a video on Put a Ring on It. Put a Ring on It has come back, y'all, and I'm going to do a video on that as well. So please be keeping a lookout for that. I'll talk to you later. Bye.